Wait, water. Cue intro. Hello and welcome to KamenRider Blackman. And today we will be reviewing, finally, the most recently completed Sentai, Kishiryuu Sentai Ryusoulger. Come think about it right now. When was the last time I even did a Sentai? Because let me think. Last year. Wow. Anywho, Ryusoulger. I feel, to review Ryusoulger, I'm not going to lie, I felt totally different about this show when it was airing. But now, considering the fact that I got done binge watching it weeks ago, sorry about that, got busy, I do definitely feel a bit different about it, per se. But let's explore that when we get into the show. But first, let's talk about the opening and the closing. I actually do quite like the opening. When you listen to it a couple of times, it has an anime type of feel to it, which is something pretty interesting about Sentai openings now. I don't even know where to think about when it started, but I think Sentai openings now they're starting to sound like anime openings. They have that type of feel, they have that type of start, they have that type of energy. Like, try listening to any anime opening and compare it to something like, oh, it must have started back in Kyuranger, because the Kyuranger opening, it definitely sounds like something that would play in an anime. But you get the idea. Anywho, this is a good song, and anytime it came on, I always tried to sing the first part. Da na 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 battle. And the closing theme that they play for every episode, it is the cringiest thing I have ever seen before. I don't have COVID. It is the cringiest thing I've ever seen before. And the choreography, imagine watching the Thriller music video as they do this, and they replace it with na 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 na. Like, it is so, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's one of those things that it's so bad that it's good. But after a while, you can't help but laugh because, good god. But I'll be real right now. Well, let me think about this. Well, I take this, whatever. Let's get into the show, shall we? Episode 1, K-Bomb Ryusoulgers. In an area of Japan where they play Irish music, we meet our 3 heroes receiving their weapons and morphers. And I say 3 because we're missing 2 at the moment. I will admit, though, that this first episode gives good vibes because it's the first episode. It's already giving a story kind of feel. So off the bat, let's talk about the suits. I love the suits. Like, first off, my favorite part of the suits are the silver part on the right side of the chest. And second to that would be the helmets, because these are beautiful helmets. And third would be the gold areas, because they still give a knightly feel, although they're not silver. I mean, it works better for me because they're pretty metallic already, with silver on the chest and gold on the cufflinks. Now, as for the helmets, I think my favorite one would have to be Blue's, because it brings out more that he's based off of a Triceratops. Speaking of which, this is a dinosaur-themed Sentai, so let's talk about what dinosaur is each ranger. Red is, of course, a T-Rex. Blue is, of course, a Triceratops again, because before, in Kyoryuger, Pink was the Triceratops. But Pink this season is an Ankylosaurus. And black and green are, prospectively, a Smilodon and a Miragaia. Now, a Smilodon, well, since last year has been officially considered as an actual dinosaur. And a Miragaia it's something similar to a Stegosaurus. And that's all I can say for what I looked up. So now, let's go off the suits and talk about the collectibles, the Ryusouls. I love them. They look like a combination between the Ranger Keys and the Zudenchis. And we later learned that there are multiple ones out there, so there aren't just one kind of it alone. Now I'm just talking about the auxiliary keys. And so, speaking of which, they do have a lot of power-ups, and I'll get into my thoughts on those later. And so, our characters, Ko, Melto, and Asuna, are now the Ryusoulgers, along with their masters, Master Red, Master Blue, and Master Pink. Now, before getting in any further, I would like to mention the masters' acting credits, because they all have been in previous tokusatsus. So, Master Red was Ichigo in the KamenRider the first movie. Master Blue is KamenRider Ippiki, the secondary rider from KamenRider Hibiki. And Master Pink was previously in KamenRider Amazons. So, I just thought I'd mention those neat little tidbits. And so, sometime after the ceremony, the next day, we meet our supporting character, Yui, who is an aspiring YouTuber that Ko stumbles into before she's chased away by the minions of the season, the Droid Drones. Quick thought on those. I like them. Black and white's a good design. Plus, I think they do have a little bit of gold on them. But furthermore, I like the fact that they have shields and spears. So, Ko and Master Red deal with the minions, both morph. And so far, a chunk of the episode was reminding me of season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with transferring powers. And because of the brief moment when in that episode you see 2 Red Rangers, 2 Black Rangers, and 2 Yellow Rangers. In this we see 2 Red Rangers, 2 Blue Rangers, and 2 Yellow Rangers. Except, spoiler alert, no one's going to a peace conference at the end of the day. So, now let's talk about our villains, the Droid Drones. And the only 2 we get right now are Tenkajo and Creon. Now, the Droid Drones are a race of monsters that fled into space 65 million years ago, when the dinosaurs were extinct, and they were the enemy of the Ryusoul tribe, which is all of them. So, in the Super Sentai universe, along with the Bakidus from Abba Ranger being transferred to an alternate dimension and turned into, their dinosaurs, along as well with Kyoryuger creating dinosaurs, Zords from yada 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 there. It's no surprise that, because Zyuranger exists, that humans coexisted alongside dinosaurs and fought against evil that retreated into space. And so, the Masters suspect that the Droid Drones have returned to steal their mechs, the Kishiryus. Now, and I'm stating this plot point right now because it's going to be important way down the line. The Ryusoulger's powers are tied into the Kishiryus themselves, so remember that. So, feeling this new responsibility weigh on them, to counter it is Yue finding them again, only for Ko to escort her out and use a hammer to erase her memories. And this is funny for 2 reasons. 1, the hammer has memory wiper on it, and 2, it's a hammer, and a hammer could kill you. And Ko's just saying, sorry, I got my job. Luckily, he doesn't use it, and instead, a giant monster attacks the village called a Minosaur. Ko and Master Red go to the temple to awaken the Kishiryus, while the rest of the blues and pinks deal with the monster. Unfortunately, Tankijo sneaks into the temple, and their powers are cut off from them. Both Ko and Master Red encounter Tankijo, which doesn't go well. On both sides, actually, leading to the Masters, and I mean all of them, Master Red, Master Blue, and Master Pink, sacrificing themselves for their students. Now, for me, personally, it's amazing how intense this first episode is. By killing off the teachers so that the students will take over, they set the stakes up high. And to go further, Master Red's spirit goes inside Ko's Ryu soul, and after another attempt to fight Tankijo, Ko is teleported into the Megazord's cockpit and awakens the Kishiryus, and then they all break out of the temple in the form of the primary mech to beat the Minosaur. So now let's talk about the mechs of the show, the Kishiryus as a whole, and the first two formations. They look great. The most natural looking, in my opinion, would probably be Triken, the Triceratops, if only because of that sword for a horn. Now, and coming off of Kyoryuger, which was before this, the last Sentai to have dinosaur mechs, you get a bit more of a natural feel from them. Like in some areas, like once again with the horn with the sword horn with Triken. Man, now for the mechs, for the combinations, well, Kishiryuu, which is the T-Rex in its own Megazord form, it looks awesome. It can actually, some parts of the Megazord can actually switch around so he can do attacks with it, but overall, it looks great. And the most amazing thing about it is that it's not bulky for a T-Rex. Like, it's standing up straight, it's pretty thin, it's just so damn mobile, man. It's awesome. I love it. And now for the primary mech altogether, Kishiryuu 3 Knights. That looks even cool. That looks cool too. Maybe a bit better because there's more color on it. But yeah, this looks pretty dang awesome, all things considered. And now, episode 2. The monsters in this show are created by Kreon dropping drips of green goo inside people's mouths. And I don't know why I thought that was so cringy the first time I watched it. Now it's just freaking disgusting. And containing a lot of sexual innuendos, because all these are non-consensual. Or at least there's one that is a lot later. Ugh. But anywho, the point now, and when it's like when Kreon drops his goo inside someone's mouth, a Minosaur is created, and it slowly drains like the life energy from the host, and the more energy it drains, the more the monster will actually grow in this case, and the host would eventually die. And so that's actually quite impressive and pretty different that they did this time. As opposed to kill the monster first, then it grows. Instead, they're saying defeat the monster now so that it won't come back again. And they took it a bit farther with, if you don't defeat it quick enough, it's just gonna grow anyway, regardless. And so, aside from that, they decide to go find the Kishiryus in order to team up with them. And so, Ko finds the T-Rex, and names him Teramigo. And fun fact, the voice actor for Teramigo is the voice actor who did Shadow Moon. I am not kidding. The voice actor for Teramigo is the same guy who voiced one of the best villains ever in KamenRider, Shadow Moon, aka Masaki Terasoma. Oh, and he also did one of the Imogens from KamenRider Den-O named Kintaros. And so that fact is just so fucking awesome. It's so cool. Anywho, in episode 3, Teramigo brings them to the other Kishiryuus, Triken and Ankylos, to which I said again are the Triceratops and the Ankylosaurus. And in mid-battle, we meet our other two Ryusoulgers, two brothers, Toa and Bamba, like Ryusoul Green and Ryusoul Black, respectively. And they wreck shit in their first encounter and come off as dicks afterwards. Toa more so. And I guess I should mention it now about Yui. Ko and company are starting to live with her and her dad. And in episode 3, she's the host of a Minosaur. And we watch how Toa and Bamba roll. Like, since Yui's the host, they want to kill her to get rid of the Minosaur first and faster. And Ko and them are not down with that. And although I'm not a Star Trek fan, to quote Mr. Spock,
the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
That was said out of altruism. One man was going to sacrifice himself willingly so that millions of others would be safe. This, on the other hand, is just murder, and it's wrong. Yui does not want to die, and she isn't about to martyr herself. But in episode 4, Toa and Bamba get their Kishiryus, Tigerlance and Mirneedle. They can also make additional formations, but that's here and there. And so, at the end of episode 4, Toa starts taking a liking towards Ko and them and find him and his brother's way of handling things to be wrong once he starts taking 2 steps back to acknowledge another's life. Now, in episode 6, it is the end of Tenkijo once the Ryusoulgers combine all together to make Kishiryuu 5 Knights. And so let's see. What do I think of Kishiryuu 5 Knights? It's cozy. Like, all the pieces in this combination are in a cozy spot, but it's not so bad. It's just a lot more going on with that not sleek, but not so bulky figure of a mech. Like, there's something on the chest, you have a shield and the sword, and it's not so bad. It's not terrible looking or a clusterfuck. Though I will have to comment though, like, Triken is on a shoulder and it has like a long horn, so I feel like it would possibly knock some stuff over, maybe break a few windows. But that's just me. But next, in episode 7, we get our next General Weisel. And in episode 11, we get a new Kishiryu modeled after a Dimetrodon, Dime Volcano, who can talk like Tiramigo can too, but Dime Volcano is more developed in intelligence to hold a conversation. Weisel finds him in order to take control of him, but instead he acknowledges Ko and gives him his Ryu Soul that projects into a new armor. While it was given to Ko, the Mirror Soul is shared amongst them. So let's talk about that armor and how it looks. It's not bad. It's good looking. Though I will admit, I am glad that it is shared amongst them because I don't particularly like it when it's on red. Like, it looks better when it's on black, but no, that's just me. I don't think red and orange really go together well. But the armor, though, it's still cool. And in the next episode, Teramigo and Dime Volcano can combine to make Kishiryuu Dime Volcano. So let's talk about that combination. It's not so... I'm sorry, I'm pulling up a picture right now. Yeah. It's space. Alright. Damn it. Be a few seconds. Okay. Alright, yeah. Alright, I got a picture. Sorry for the long ass delay. I need to angle my camera more. Anywho, yeah, it's not... Man, it's not so bad. It's pretty cool. It actually looks pretty cool. Like, I said before, red and orange doesn't look good together. But I don't know. I think maybe because there's silver and gold there, it's fine. Besides that, I do like the head and the shoulder cannons, and it looks pretty dope. And, oh, but Kishiryuu Dime Volcano does not have a good first outing when Ko constantly gets tricked with illusions of the girls, Yue and Asuna. But once the monster turns into Melto, he attacks it. Yeah, I didn't find it funny either, and I thought it dragged the episode a bit. Along with Teramigo being jealous of Dime Volcano. But moving on, the real wonder of the episode is who released Dime Volcano, since all Kishiryus were sealed away, and it's revealed to be a silver and purple armored figure that we'll talk about later. But in episode 14, we get introduced to our fourth newest general, Gachilus. Now, it's a while before it's ever said, but Tankajo, Weisel, and Gachilus all come from a single entity, like the big boss of the Druidons. Episode 14 is also the introduction to our sixth ranger, the Knight of Grandeur, Ryusoulger, and his character introduction is hitting on women to find a bride for some odd reason, and in this case, he is a homewrecker. And so, let's talk about Ryusoulger and his look, as well as a couple of things in his arsenal. As for his suit, it looks pretty good. It's similar to the others, but a bit nicer. If only because it's blue and gold. And I think he has a cobalt blue. Anywho, my point is, he looks pretty cool. Now, for his dinosaur, he's based off of a Mosasaurus, which is a water dinosaur. And actually want to talk about his morpher and his weapon next. His morpher is a gun that's shaped like a Mosasaurus, and I think that was a brilliant idea because how they designed it looks exactly like the anatomy of that dinosaur. And his weapon's pretty cool too. He just has an X-Acto knife, and I think that's freaking badass. Like, it's not just another sword or a gun that can become a sword, or it's just, he just has an X-Acto knife, and that's all he pretty much needs. To which he can also combine the two together for a blaster too. Oh, and he also has his own power-up, the Bitty Bitty Soul, which gives him electricity. Oh, which, by the way, the Mirror Mirror Soul gives the wearer firepower. But I like this. I like the Bitty Bitty Soul. It looks pretty shocking, if I may say. It looks good. Anywho, so Ryusoulger is a man named Canelo, and he's from a Ryusoul tribe that lives underwater. So apparently when the dinosaurs went extinct, humans develop the eternal lung capacity to breathe underwater. So, Canelo's from underwater along with his sister, Oto, and they came from that underwater tribe that 65 million years ago, after the Droidons went into space, there was a war between the land and the sea tribes, and when it ended, Canelo's Kishiryuu, Mosarex, which is a Mosasaurus, took those who would follow him into their own tribe that moved underwater. Now, Canelo is at first not interested in joining up with the Ryusoulgers for no reason at all whatsoever, and spends his time looking for a wife. And the assumption for why he's looking for a wife is because for one, he lives underwater, and so reproduction would be a bit of a problem down the line a lot later, which is something Mosarex really should have thought about if he was so wise and not arrogant. So in episode 16, Gotchulus is killed in this episode by Kishiryuu Neptune, Mosarex's Megazord form, that consists of him and 2 Omnimite Knuckles. Anywho, Kishiryuu Neptune, I like it. I can dig it. It just looks pretty cool. The mouth opens up, and that's where the real soul makes the head at. And everything else about it, it's... One thing for sure first, I like the color scheme. But yeah, this looks not bad. That's pretty neat. Let's see it. And in episode 17, Mosarex and Dime Volcano can make a dinosaur form called Spino Thunder. So basically, those two, a Mosasaurus and a Dimetrodon, they form a Spinosaurus. And it just took me now to realize that, because I never not once noticed it when I was watching the show. But yeah, Spino Thunder. It's not bad. It's all right. Is it standing? Also, here's the. Is it standing on 2 legs or 4? Wait, no, they didn't. Yeah, it would definitely have to be standing on 2 legs, because. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. A Spinosaurus stands on 2 legs too, right? Yeah, they do. But yeah, anywho, episode 18, both Canelo and Gecko bring their mechs together to make Gigant Kishiryuu. So let's talk about that combination next, shall we? And here's the closest picture of it. Now, I think the colors on Kishiryuu Neptune look good. That cobalt blue. It's possibly navy, but the point is, it looks great. This, however, Gigant Kishiryuu, I'm not the biggest fan of it. For one, I'm not a big fan of the color scheme that's going on here. It's red, gold, cobalt blue, or possibly navy and orange. I don't know, I just don't like it, in my opinion. And the T-Rex head and the Mosasaurus head, I like the head and the shoulder cannons again. That's about it. But I don't know, I'm just not particularly feeling it with Gigant Kishiryuu. And going forward, here is where I have an issue with the mechs in this show. And that issue is Terramigo is the only one that matters. How they made 5 Knights isn't beyond me with those attachable components that could actually be useful in any other formation, or heck, making a whole new mech. But instead, the other 4 just take a back seat. so that Teramigo and Mosa Rex could be at the forefront. And heck, for Mosa Rex, he needs the 2 Omnimite Knuckles to be his hands to begin with. But instead, those 2 mechs are the only ones that matter for the further combinations. So not just this one. And so, that wraps up... So, yeah. Well, that wraps up part 1. And we will talk about episode 21 in part 2 in the next video. See you there.